So, welcome to tonight's episode of. I should actually have a title of a name. Usually this is Guitars and Gears Down Under, but tonight we're talking with some real musos in Australia. Real musos. These are great musos you're here right now. And we're going to be talking about the COVID-19 situation, not the actual situation, but how it's affecting the musicians, because around the world, as you probably know, all the gigs have just stopped. So, might just go in a round table. So maybe first to my right, Mr. Rob. Do you want to introduce yourself and what mate you do?
Yeah, g'day. I'm Rob Rhodes. Play in a band called Living in the 70s. Also do solo work and trio. Sort of like 200 gigs a year. Sort of what I average about. But that's it. PA, whatever else, whatever pays the bills. But yeah, that's sort of what I do. Singer, guitar player, band manager, equipment relocation manager.
Okay, cool. And we have Carl. What about yourself, Carl?
Well, I run a couple of open mics, do Battle of the Bands and jam nights up at Boardwalk Tavern. Play 6 nights a week. I do solo, Carl Peters live, or I do Common Ground, duo, trio, whatever they need. So, yeah, do quite a few gigs a year, 6 nights a week.
Very, very good. And Kel?
Hey guys, similar story. Solo musician principally. Six nights a week. Had 106 gigs booked until the end of September so far this year. Playing a couple of jazz duos, a couple of female vocalists and a saxophonist. Trio, and I've just kicked off quite a substantial 7 and 8 piece band as well. I'm a real absolute open mic dog. I get along to all the jams and all the open mics, as many as I can.
Supporting the scene.
Fan of all the guys here. So, yep.
Very good. So, is it safe to say that most of you have lost, I don't know, maybe 90% of your income?
I'd say I've lost it all.
Okay, 100%.
100%, all gone.
Wow. Yep.
There's still gigs in the calendar. Like a lot of the venues have been really good in just saying month to month. So some venues just cancelled everything up to the end of May, waiting on what's going to happen, and some cancelled all the way to October, which that was only 1 or 2 venues that have done that. All the other venues have held the dates for us. On the proviso that, it'll be revised as we move along with this thing, and they'll cancel as we get info, or if things open back up, then those dates will hold, because I think a lot of them don't really want to have to redo their schedule and see who's available. If they can hold their calendars, then they can come back and trade as normal rather than having to go and source bands again from scratch.
Right. I think that's a good point. And what about yourself, Carl, with all your gigs?
100%. It was a Tuesday and I lost everything. So one after the other went. Then I'm also a real estate agent and auctioneer, and they canned all auctions as well. So hard times.
Oh, right. So double whammy with you. The side hustle is gone as well.
Well, that was my main job, was real estate. Then I played 6 nights a week with music. So I lost everything at once.
And Kel, do you have any other sources of income?
Yeah, I do. Fortunately, I'm kind of quite comfortable. That's probably the wrong word. Essentially, all of my music gigs that would, I lost 100% of my gigs. Tuesday was a particularly busy day for me. That, often 5 gigs on a Tuesday. Wow. And that was like I always relied on that Tuesday to set me up for the week, so I could pretty much cruise into the week. But all gone. So now I'm having to diversify and look for alternative means. And it's coming along nicely, but it's a long road to hope, just like for everything, I guess.
Yeah, understood. Well, myself, I'm a music teacher by day at a secondary school, so it sort of helps. But I still rely on the gigs. We've got someone coming in a second, but yeah, with the gigs, I just don't do the club circuit stuff. I actually have a hand in a tribute show, and I also been doing my own thing and been more times overseas in the last 2 years than I ever have been. trying to do my own thing in my great, trying to get to the next step, but gone. So have to start again. So I might just get Deb popping in here. So you ready to go, Deb? Here we go. Hey, Deb. So do you have audio, Deb? Can we hear you? Probably not. No, we can't hear you. We'll have to sort that out. Yeah. I might just bounce you. You might have to sort your audio out. Turn your mic on. I will come back to Deb in a sec. Go out and come back in. Sorry, Deb. Just check your mic. So, with all the social media stuff that's happening now, do you guys have any ideas or what kind of cool things that are happening? I know Kel's involved with a couple of things. Maybe we start with Kel first. What do you think that musos can do now with the things? Social media is probably the thing that's connecting us. Lots of what we're doing right now. What do you think?
Oh yeah, mate. So, like the downstream effects, obviously, are my most pressing and urgent concern. What's going to happen once we come out of this. But for the moment, I'm part of the admin team for the Lockdown Mike Facebook page, and that's had a huge role in uniting. And I use that word specifically because that's exactly what it's done in this really difficult time. That page has united the entire music community that I know in Australia. And I know guys down as far as Tasmania, South Australia, New South Wales, all the states, all the territories, and we're all coming together on this page. Likewise, I'm heavily involved with Debbie and Brad and their page, in the Pub with No Fear. I see it as one of those silver linings to this event that I've been able to reconnect with people after years of not having contact through the music scene. And then also, we're really coming together as a united force to address this. And really, there's some fantastic initiatives coming out of it. I know myself and Carl, we're having really close discussions about some initiatives we've got planned for this. So,
okay,
yeah.
So definitely, tune in and on the social media. There's lots of opportunities.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What you're actually, And Carl, what do you say about that, Carl?
Yeah, we're the same. I mean, it's just things are going to change. It's going to be changed for quite a while too. I don't think it's going to be a quick fix. They're saying bunk down for 6 months, but there's ways to do things. I'm looking at selling properties online now, online auction platform. We're doing gigs online.
Oh wow! Sorry, just got distracted. Prime Minister. I don't know about that.
Yeah. So basically, I can sell. We can do gigs online as far as the Pub with No Fear. I did a gig there the other night with Dean, and it was a great response. We got a heap of people. I think it's also good for us to sit down and work out. It's going to be a clean slate. What do you want after all this is done? Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? Like we all get stale. I've done the same show for 10 years, and I'm thinking, might be time to try something new. Perfect time to sit down and practice.
Right, and change. Yep. And what about you, Rob? What do you think?
I don't know. I think it's still everybody's feeling their way. Everybody sort of jumped on the live stream thing early on, which has been great because people are isolated and just looking for a distraction from the news, the 24-hour cycle. But I think there's probably some changes coming soon with APRA and licensing, that type of thing that's going on at the moment, how they're going to try and shut some of it down possibly, or I think it's a really good opportunity for APRA to look at some cheap licenses for people that are doing what we're doing.
Right, because you have some experience on the other side of the fence, right, being a venue manager, right?
Yeah, I got out of it a few years ago, but pretty much 15 years in pubs and clubs and running them and that sort of thing. So they usually have a license fee that every venue plays.
Yeah.
Hey, Deb.
Get closer.
So a venue will pay
Can
a
you hear
licensing fee for a year.
Yep.
Hey, can you hear us?
Cool.
Yes. Yep.
Excellent, thank you.
Whether that's to just play, house music through the nightlife system or have live music or events. And I think there's a real opportunity for APRA just to go, people like us that are doing these shows, maybe a $20 or $30 license that lasts for 12 months. It's like a busking license that allows us to perform covers online
Right.
without Facebook pulling them down or YouTube pulling them down for copyright infringement or trying to monetize
How much was it? Sorry, Rob?
Like I think
No,
$20 to
Rob
$30
suggested a cheap,
Oh, that's
cheap
cheap.
license.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
would be good. But if you imagine every cover musician in Australia that's doing this is paying $20, that's a lot of money into artists' pockets that,
Right.
they're not getting from Spotify, they're not getting from any of that. I think that's sort of how they have to look at it rather than shutting it all down, because it's just going to alienate people. It's going to be Napster all over again,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Fallout.
Yep.
So that we're not really sort of getting into where it's going to come out at the other end. I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But for now, I think it's just in its infancy. People just sort of went, holy crap, all my work's gone, all my income's gone. What do I do? And I know that my wife and I,
Hey, Ben.
the anxiety levels were
Is he in? I'll send him the link.
here.
Oh, no, it's all right.
Oh,
Sorry.
hey, Ben.
Yeah, keep
I
going,
think
Rob.
the anxiety levels were, for all of us, were probably super high those first couple of weeks until we got some assurance from the government that there was going to be a support payment there for us. And then, okay, now I can think about what I'm going to do, knowing
Thanks,
that there's
Robin.
some money coming
Mm.
Hey Rob,
Right.
on that note, Rob, have you received your WorkKeeper at all? Your
in. Yeah, I got my
JobKeeper.
first one. Got my first payment yesterday.
Okay, now when you first kicked that off and you applied for it, just so that everybody knows, like all I did was go and I put in my ABN and they said they were going to send me updates. Where does it go to from there? Because I've received nothing else from them.
Do the same.
Okay, so bit of a backstory. I sort of started to prepare for this 2 weeks before it happened.
Wow.
Smart
True
man. Who told
professional.
you?
I warned all the guys in my band. I sent them a long email. Take stock of your savings, cut spending now. Like I sort of was getting word from the Australian Hotels Association that the lockdown was coming, sort of a week to 10 days out before it happened. So I went straight into Centrelink. There were no queues. I got my ID checked. So I was ready to go. Got a link code.
I didn't get the
linked it to the
memo.
MyGov side. But this is before, like, there's almost a completely new system now. So I had to go through the old system of uploading like 50 documents, proving my income, profit and loss. So all that went up, and then basically it took care of itself. It said, we've received, your application. Then I got a notification that it was approved and a payment schedule. So I really didn't have any other contact with them once the application was
I'm in this very strange sort of crossover period where I've applied for JobSeeker before the JobKeeper was announced, and now my JobSeeker has started to come through. But at the same time, I've got an application for JobKeeper. Yeah.
But JobKeeper,
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there in the same boat.
Yeah, the legislation for JobKeeper hasn't passed yet. They're going into Parliament to sign off on the legislation tomorrow.
True. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
Things may speed up for people then.
I guess, it's very evident in time of crises that things get done, right? A massive shift. I know that the school that I was working at, or still working at, I should say, is the move to online deployment of classes happened in 48 hours. Like, that's how quick, it's just amazing. But we should
Is that a private school, Doug?
A Catholic system.
Yeah,
So-
see, I think it's a bit slower in the public system, though.
Right, okay. But, just on education, before we go off this subject, distance education is not new. USQ, they have a distance ed facility, and it's amazing. And, homeschooling is not new. Like, there's people who have actually refined this process. And so I remember seeing an article about all year 12s need to, maybe reset their year or retake or whatever. I don't know. I disagree with that because there's systems in place. All we need to do is share the knowledge to actually hone the systems that are already there. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. But we should introduce Deb and Brad. Do you want to please let us know what you do and what's happened in your world being a musician?
Yeah, for sure. You want to take that on, Deb?
No, you can do it.
Okay, no
I'm
worries.
sending out links to everyone.
Okay, awesome.
We're trying to get everyone on the page. But look, really, we just, I don't know where this brainstorm idea came from to Debbie, but pretty much straight away, as soon as we found out what was going on and we were put out of work
Oh,
overnight.
well, that's easy. We
She was onto it.
woke up one morning and lost 6 months worth of gigs, and he melted down. So I just went,
I think everyone, all
Let's
us
go live.
musos have had that happen, right? We go through stages. I think I was talking to Kelly about it.
Thanks, Chris.
You have those first 2 or 3 days where you've got to process it all, and you go through this really wide range of emotions. And I did the same. I was frustrated. I was angry. Then I was sad. Then I was, all these things. And then when I managed to come out of it, I was okay. I'm okay now. By the way, I'm great. But Debbie, she's a very, very positive person. Good person to have around. And she was straight onto this idea. Created the group, and it just took off from there. So our plan was just to help people. We're not charging any fees or anything like that. We just wanted to give somewhere for musos to still go on and perform, because that ache that you get, like, that was one of the first things that hit me. I was sitting out the front when this was all really hitting me, looking at my front yard thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to get to perform for 6 months. How am I going to cope with this? And that really hurt. So we wanted to give everyone a platform where they could still do that. And ourselves as well.
Yes.
Being a little bit selfish there, ourselves as well.
the PayPal idea I got from Pam Harder, that runs the original Sound Lounge in Port Macquarie. She suggested that, but she was saying, she was like telling everybody, oh, we're going to get you on here, we're going to go live, and she invited me to one of her joint messenger chats that she had with everyone, and everyone was saying, oh, we can't work out how to go live. How do you do that? And it suddenly occurred to me she had a page, not a group. And so I shared with her and all the rest of her friends how that she had to create a subgroup within her page so she could, get everyone live.
Yeah.
And while she was doing that, Brad was already registering the name The Pub With No Fear, and we'd already created the group. So it sort of all happened at once, and which was really cool. And we
Non-stop ever since, guys, and it's awesome because it keeps your mind occupied, it keeps you moving.
Then we found out about the lockdown, Mike. It's really cool, happening at once. 3 women running 3 groups on the eastern seaboard. You
go the girls.
So obviously we're all in this situation. So what can we do? Maybe Kelly, if you want to chime in here, like, what can we do? Obviously sharing of knowledge, but how do we keep the art alive, keep it fresh?
Look, I think the sharing of the knowledge is, like, I've always, ever since I got here in 2011,
right,
people have shared their knowledge with me, and I'm a sponge. I soak up information, and then I apply it to my particular circumstance. And I think the biggest thing out of this is, while we thought, I know Rob went through it. I know everyone currently in this panel went through it. We all just went doom and gloom those first few days. Then the sun came out and we got a bit of perspective about it and realized, hey, we've got these other talents, and now we're applying them. And, sharing the knowledge, like, I make a point of trying to, whilst ostensibly I'm a live performer and a musician and a singer, or I try to at least have a knowledge sharing monologue every day on the Lockdown Mic page, because it's I don't hold myself out to be a prophet or anything like that, but I think everything I try to share, I try to keep it relevant, on point, exactly to the getting to the point of the current situation we're in. And I intend over the next few days to, like, where I come into knowledge, I tend to just put that out on the page and share it as much as I can. So I think that's really crucial. But also, as performers, well, certainly in my case, I have this habit of, like, sort of not really backing myself to the full. And I've sort of, through this, I've come through a different process with that. Now
that's good.
I know that I'm in a position, my back is against the wall, literally. So I really need to deliver for myself. And if I can do that for myself, I know I can share that with other people out there. So, that's just my perspective.
No, that's great. And Carl, what do you think about that?
Hey. Hang on a second. This is the only way I could get Pam into the chat, because she can't get in. Here she is.
Hello. Just send her the link, and she just needs to use her phone or Google Chrome on a laptop. Google Chrome on a laptop. Yep.
Yeah,
Cool.
I tried that. It's not connecting.
All right. Can't call
Mama.
Telstra because everyone's.
next time.
Well, anyway, she's here, so
Okay,
there you go.
cool. Excellent. So, yeah, we're just going over to Carl for a sec. And Carl, yeah, what do you think about, yeah,
I think it's
where
a
we're
great
at?
time for everyone to just sit down. Like I said before, it's a blank canvas. We can all sit down and cry about it, or we can all work out what are we going to do when we come out of this. I mean, there's some amazing things happening. And when you have a look at some of the people who are actually instigating some of this stuff, they're the ones that actually go out and do it as well. So it's the same with gigs. There's guys that go out and make the work happen. They find the gigs and they share the gigs. There's guys that just go and do the gigs, and that's going to happen in every business. And it's going to happen times too. There's going to be guys going to sit back, wait for us to give it to them. Then there's going to be guys like us on the panel here who go and get it. And
Right.
It's just, what do you want at the end of it? What do you want to be? Same that you're doing before it, or you want to be trying to do something better? So,
Right, because it can't be individual, right? Because if we only think individually, the scene's going to fall over.
It will.
Yeah. And what do you think, Rob?
Man, I just think trying to keep as many people connected as, the bands with the venues, the bands with your followers. Just got to keep that connection through this.
What did Ben say? Sorry.
Because if you don't do that, you'll be forgotten on the other side, I think.
Yeah.
I've made a point with my live streams of tagging the venue I would have been in that.
Oh,
that
very
day
smart. Very
or
smart.
that weekend.
That's awesome. Because they're losing income too, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And then they've been sharing it to their page and their Instagram, and just keeping that community connected to not just the band, but the venues as well. Because, man, how many staff are out of work? My fallback career is hotels, hospitality.
And it's still going.
So,
yeah, still
and
going.
it's both my skill set are just, parked on a sandy beach somewhere at the moment. So, it's, I think we just gotta, that's the thing. Stay connected, but be prepared. This is not going to be just 6 months. For some venues might be able to open up as soon as the lockdown's finished and this virus is gone. There will be some venues that can do that, but I think the vast majority of them won't be able to do that.
What I'm worried about, another thing that has been on playing on my mind here is that if things do return back to normal, if we keep creating these online groups and doing these live feeds, people are going to get lazy and they're going to stay home and keep watching it online if we keep streaming them online instead of going back out to pubs again. And then a venue's going to stop paying us because everyone's at home doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be. I think people are going to want to come out.
I feel like people will come back.
Yep.
You're never going to stop people wanting to go out and have a beer and watch the footy.
That's
I
true.
actually think there'll be a massive resurgence when this is over, and that
True.
people are going, "Hells yes, I get to go back outside." At that point, though, I think you're right as well. Venues will be tight on their purse strings because they've just come through effectively something worse than a recession.
I reckon bands are going to suffer.
Yeah, fans are already suffering, man.
So, Doug, can I ask you a question, mate?
Absolutely.
So you've got experience over, in the States, right?
Yeah.
And Nashville, the music scene in Nashville, that's absolutely cutthroat, right?
Yes, it is.
And it's almost like LA's pay to play, and Nashville's almost like that.
Tips.
And there's
tips and a hat.
Yeah. So I'm sure all of you are on Cover Band Central on Facebook, that group, and that's where I've sort of learned about other scenes around. Now, do we see it evolving, the live scene here in Australia evolving similar to Nashville?
Right. So that's a really, really good question. So just to get everyone on the same page. So yes, cool. Been to States a few times, and this is what I have observed. So in Nashville, most of the bands, they actually go to a room and they only get paid via tips, and their covers gig is not 4 hours. it's 8 hours, and there's 0 breaks, and there's 0 background music. So
Oh my God.
how they manage that is they take a hat around, and it's a team effort. So it's not just the band that goes. They have like a crew. They have a girl that takes around the gear to get tips or whatever, or a hat or some descriptor, or it can be whoever. But it's more than just the band. So for toilet breaks, they will either be dynamic, and they'll have a different kind, or someone's too close to the audio there. They'll have to have so much for a toilet break. They'll change the dynamic and do vocal, acoustic, blah blah blah. But I'm getting to your question, and then so it's just for tips, and it's just a mind blow. And so you could have a great night, or you could play for next to nothing. And what they do is they swap musicians. So I might be working for your band for 4 hours, Rob, and then whatever tips there is, I get a cut. Then I might swap. I might go up, and play in another dude's band. So it looks like it's all changing, but it's actually not. Into LA, pay to play. So long time ago, I saw Phil X before he was even anywhere near close to Bon Jovi. Had no idea. So got to have a little shred with him. He, back then you had to pay for a time slot. So they'd organise, maybe my camera's all over the shop here. If there's 4 acts on a night, then you have to actually pay for your time slot, and it's up to the band. They have the business sense to do ground zero work, leg work, and go and connect with your patrons. And bands that have done this successfully are System of the Down, Green Day, all lots. The Offspring. They came up in the 90s, etc., etc. But getting back to your question, I think that actually is a probable cause, because if there's such a high demand of a venue, and I think Robin Clements just said before, some of the venues are in trouble, so they're closing as well. So if you've got Outway, you've got 150 bands and only 10 venues, they can sell the time. It's just like a TV station. That's just my opinion, but maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not sure. What do you think? Maybe Kel. What do you think, Kel? Do you think it could go that way?
My previous life was drastically different to this one. And that career taught me that you only ever speculate on the future when you know the future. And the simple answer to that is you don't know the future. So it's pointless using energy to speculate on. And that's ingrained in me. I never speculate on the future. For a start, the planet's never been in this position before, so nobody knows the answer. Now, you've got economists who I think, I take a holistic view. Economists are the ones with the most, in my opinion, to gain from this, because they have to, they have to future plan. They've got to look at downstream effects of this and they have to design an economic recovery package for every government on the planet.
Right.
That's not our sphere. Our sphere is providing entertainment and enjoyment. And I think I don't want to speculate on how it's going to go. All I know is that I'm making plans now, like you said it before, Doug, ground zero. I'm doing my ground zero stuff now. I know Carl's doing his ground zero stuff as well, and I know Deb and Brad are as well. I can't speak for you, Rob, because you're new to me, but I know these other 4 people are doing their groundwork today, so that we're ready to hit the ground when we need to, and whenever that's going to be. If it's going to be in, people are speculating 4 months. Like, stop doing it to yourselves. You're just causing yourself heartache and mental anguish. It could be 6 months. Somebody just posted on the page a moment ago. It could be 12 months turnaround before we're back to normal. I tend to come down on that side of things if I'm gonna hang my hat out or chuck my head over the fence. But as far as speculating on stuff, that's not my business. My business is entertainment, and that's what I stick to. So,
yeah. And I think Chris Reagan just posted there that the difference between us and the States is population. So I think what are we at? About 25 million. They're about 350 million. So maybe it's a different mindset. Yeah.
Tipping culture as well. I don't think we've got a tipping culture in Australia here yet, so people aren't quite used
That's a good point.
That's a very good point.
I agree with that to a certain degree, but I've had recent experience where tips were really balanced out my day. The other thing about the US situation is they've got some pretty extreme labor laws over there. When you've got waitresses working for $4 and $6 an hour that have to rely on tips,
minimum wage.
And then Doug just explained about you pay to play. That doesn't exist here, and I can't honestly. From what I've seen so far in my, I've only been here 9 years, so I've got a short span of experience here. But from what I've seen and what I've observed and the relationships I've formed with the venues that I have a close relationship with, I can never see them treating us like that because we're too valuable to them. Because
That's
I know
right.
for a fact, Ben White raised it before and he made the perfect point. Bands will try to undercut other bands. And if that happens, they'll be exposed and for a short time, we'll have a long period of, I think we'll be retarded in our return.
Yeah,
I think the venues are only going to want to
crap to continue.
The venues are only going to book the guys at the top of their game.
They're only going to book the good ones and
ones that are left
soloists and duos, I reckon, for a while.
Yeah.
So if you're at the top of your game, cool. If you're a cowboy that's going to go in and do a gig for $100, they don't want you anyway. They're going to have their pick of the good musos. They don't need a cowboy that's going to do a gig for $100.
That's right.
That's my view. What we were thinking of doing too was ticketing them to cover the costs.
A topical point that I want to make is I was recently, just before this all went off, got myself a really sweet contract with the Coromon RSL. But that was based on, they told me, and you. This is why I have a lot of respect for you, Rob, because they told me about how they work with you, how they love having you back because of what you bring, and they know
Rob's a legend.
When you're on the billing, you're going to bring at least 100 people into that place, And so, you've got those venues. They pay serious money to serious musicians. I'm not interested in playing any venue that isn't serious about having me and paying me serious money. And I know that sounds very capitalist, but I take a pragmatic, realistic approach to it. I'm not in this to play
Sounds like you know your
I'm in it to
worth.
make my living. This is my living. So, that's all I would like to add on that point.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And maybe Pam, do you want to say something about that, Pam?
About what? Where are we starting? Where are you at? Sorry, I have to join the conversation.
Oh, that's okay. Just about what's happening with the gigs and what's your thoughts on? Yeah. Sorry, where are you based from? Actually, I should ask you that.
I'm actually from New Zealand, and then I fell off the plane into rural Australia on the mid-north coast and made a scene just cause. And then I met my husband. Yeah, now I live in the Lower Clarence though, like Yamba. I just moved there like last year, and I'm hopefully gonna get the local. There's some sick local musos here, and we actually play festivals together all up and down the coast. I've just got in touch with them this week, like Fiona Boys. The Cigar Box.
Thanks, Phil.
Festival, like Cigar Box Guitar Festival, so like New Orleans, Nashville, Meat Stock Festival, or stuff like that. And just on the side, we had this thing called Original Sound Lounge, which is operating pretty well online. Like we're booked for the year now, but we just finished, we only just finished packaging that, and we won't properly go live with press releases or anything else until next week. But that's all focused around protecting the artist's market worth now, so that when they go back, when this is all over, that they can still charge the same amount like they're worth when all the venues reopen and the festivals start happening again. I don't think they're going to stop. I don't think we're going to be in danger of having to play for tips, because our artists that we work with know what they're worth, and they know, and we're equipping them. We're running workshops to help educate them.
That's a good point. That's good.
Their worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So if the professional musos stick at charging professional rates, we'll be okay.
We're all in this together.
You have to work together. So we went. You guys are familiar with Original Sound Lounge. You know our expectations. You know our structure, and that's what we want to work with. You cannot just rock up and live stream. We couldn't just make a groove and make it a free for all, because it hurt the artist's value. If I take someone like Claude Hay,
correct,
and put him next to somebody who's just picked up a ukulele and thought it might be fun to play today, then all of a sudden Claude Hay thinks I'm a tool, and he's playing with like people that just don't match the level that he's at. It does nothing for his career or
That's
for his
right.
earning capacity. So we've approached this from a point of view of we need to protect artists' income. There's no such thing as playing for tips. Tips should be on top. So what we're currently doing is we're consulting with APRA, our local government, our arts councils, and looking for funding and ways that we can get funding to make sure that there is at least, even on our virtual platforms, a standard minimum rate, which all of our collective musos have already agreed on. There's a group of about 200 of us.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. And that's probably great. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, look, hey guys, I just want to jump in here and say this too, that Pam and I have been bouncing back information with each other, with Carl and Rob and Kelly for a while now about all of this. So we're all
Since
really
the
linked
band
in.
started, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And who haven't we heard from on this topic? Maybe Rob. What do you think, Rob? About the culture? Do you reckon there will be a culture shift or...
Hey, Carl. Nice to see you back.
It's just... I think we just got to, what Kel said about not sort of looking to the future, I just kind of got to play devil's advocate a bit there, because for me, this is my business. This is my livelihood. I've got 3 guys that depend on me for the
income,
all their income. So it's not only the responsibility for me and my rent, but I also felt the responsibility of those 3 guys that were making a fairly decent annual salary playing in this band. And one thing that I was taught as a venue manager is you have a 90-day plan. You know, you always think ahead. You have a 90-day plan, you have a 12-month plan, you have a 5-year plan. And trying to see where this is going to be, where it's going to come out, who's going to be there on the other end, really does help you plan and strategize for how we're going to come out of this. So I think it's a really good idea to go, all right, if the plan is in 6 months that everything's going to open, let's be ready to go. If the plan if the plan is 3 months, okay, well, we're going to start to see things in the next 4 to 6 weeks, how bad or how good things are going to look.
Right.
And be ready for that. Be ready for them to say, you know what, we're going to have we're going to bring in the 100-person limit again. And
right.
What's the venue? What's the venue? What are they going to want to do? Are they going to want to just open their restaurant for lunch and dinner? Are they going to open one of 3 bars? Are they going to want entertainment? Are they going to cater to trying to get that 100 people to open their wallet big time? Or are they just going to go, okay, bang, September 1 hits or October 1 hits, the October long weekend, let's say for argument's sake, and everyone opens full trade. Let's go hard and see what happens. The people that are ready for that, ready to go, their gear, is all their gear working?
Oh,
is your voice ready to go? Like all those things. Have you maintained your your audience so that when it's time to go, they all are still connected to your Facebook page, connected to all of that, your mailing list. Have you grown your mailing list in this time?
And stay in contact with your venues.
Big money.
Yeah.
Exactly. And warrant the fees.
On that note, has everybody got the promise? Before. Sorry, Rob.
Go, Deb.
I was just wondering, have you heard from your venues? Like, is everybody been reassured that we're all got our gigs back again?
Well, we have. We've received several emails.
I have. Our festivals have moved to October, like the festivals that we're currently running and planning. And that's local. That's coming from local government. So.
Yeah, good. That's good. Well, that's good. That's refreshing to know that, I think.
It's sort of, I'll get to Carl in a sec, but I think what you were saying there, Rob, about being prepared, in the last 10 years, we've seen a shift with product and service, right? The biggest cab company in the world doesn't own any cabs, Uber. And what's happened now? It's been replicated. And now the biggest hotel chain in the world, Airbnb, they don't own any hotels. So I'm just thinking, like,
Excuse
with
me, one
delivery.
sec.
No, okay, excused. That's cool. You didn't put your hand up. Yeah.
I'm dead and Brad now.
All right, cool.
That's-
So
just kept getting up
buy
again.
one get one free. So I think that I really like what you're saying, being prepared, because being in the service industry, I mean, mechanics, it doesn't matter what service you're providing, we're all in the same position. So I guess being tech savvy, getting on the tools. But what do you think, Carl, about being prepared? What can musos do to be prepared?
Well, I've been doing the same show for 10 years. I want to do a new show, but now I've got the time to do it. So
Yeah.
when you're gigging 6 nights a week, you come home, the last thing I want to do is pick a guitar up, Like,
That's right. Yeah, pilot never owns a plane. Mechanic always drives a crap car. Yeah, right, cool.
yeah, I'm all of them too. So yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, that's why I said the pilot. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so no, I want to come to your show, see if I can do something a bit fresher, pick up some skills. I don't know, maybe do things a bit smarter, I suppose. I mean, what I was doing as well, I was booked out 6 nights a week, so I can't really complain if I was doing a bad job. Mind you, the money, $100 an hour is pretty much what I get. Double that for the duos, triple for trios. It's probably the same money we've been getting for 10 years. I don't think I've ever,
That's true. That's our minimum rates.
Yeah, it'd be nice to try and pick that up, but I suppose in doing that, a lot of the clubs expect you to bring people. I know Rob brings a few people to his shows. I can't say I bring
3,000 actually.
The money hasn't changed in years, but like it's still the same as what it was back in the 80s. It's ridiculous. In Sydney in the 80s, it's still the same prices. How can we bump them
Sydney's
up?
worse now than it's ever been.
Oh my God, Sydney was
It's terrible.
Look, we're still better than the States, though. I heard that, so we're doing all right. Better than Canada.
Yeah.
How can we make
This is why virtual venues are so fantastic, though, because there's no cap. There is no. You've got your minimum rate, but like one of
That's
our
exactly
acts,
right.
he earned $1,200 in 45 minutes, and he's never gone live before. And that
Who's
was
that,
just
so-
with our instruction.
Who was that, sorry?
Kat?
That was Frank Sultana. We had him
Wow.
on our virtual pub the other week. He's never touched a go live. He's never done anything like that. So what we did is we made 10 steps to virtual success, which is basically how to go live for dummies. And then we just walked him through it, like held his hand, did the standard marketing, promo lead, and the same campaign that we would normally do for a live gig, sticking to the same structure. And it works, guys. It really does. I actually think all we need to do is recognize the artist's needs and take care of them. If we can take care of them now, then we are in a position to then also help the venues that have supported us for this long by turning around and going, hey, I'm still talking to all of your customers. If you're still running takeaways or bistro food or anything like that, get on board. Like, chuck us the cost of the minimum rate of a show, and we will encourage that your local people come and see you. And you're still going to come out at the end of it. Also, it means that we are able to identify gaps in our artists' online profiles, like their online personalities and their press kits, and we're able to offer them assistance to come up to speed to where we need them to be, to make them bookable after all this is over again. Or if we're lucky, find new talent while we're at it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon you're right, Pam. You're right on.
Yeah, so I've actually already gone and assembled like my marketing gurus, my digital gurus, my sound guy that did my first tour in Australia on the East Coast. He's out of work now and he mixed like Elton John and Super Jesus. But he knows all the ins and outs of how to get good sound on your go live. So putting together workshops like that and letting our musicians that we're already working with know, hey man, if you don't know how to do this, or if you want it to fill the gaps in your portfolio that you need it to, let us help you. And we're doing workshops like that. And then booking them because we know that they're going to be up to standard and not embarrass themselves. It's the best.
Yeah, I really like what you're saying there, Pam, about understanding the bigger picture. Because with being in the performance industry, there's two schools of thought, right? You have to do the preparation of sorts, get your talent together, but the actual art of performing is a different craft, completely different. Because
Even
Yeah, sorry,
performing
yeah.
online, we've had to coach them on how do you do an online gig? How the hell do I perform if I'm an artist that feeds off of my crowd's feedback? I like to get them clapping, I can't see 1,000 people clapping.
Yeah.
Then how do we do this? So from the 14th of April on our page, Original Sound Lounge, we'll be launching and making those workshops available with the help of our business team, who I just found overnight.
Yep. Okay. Is there one tip, Pam, that you could pass on? I mean, we'll go in a round table. If you want to go first, Pam, about how do you make your live performance online better?
Engage your audience. So whereas previously you have a lot of room to move when you're in a pub and there's lots of ambient noise and you can talk to your hecklers or take a sip of a beer, that's actually a huge pause online. So what you kind of need to do is, if you're going to take a sip of beer, stop and read through the comments
Too late.
and respond. And people actually do appreciate that. Like there's one other platform which is live at the moment called Delivered that I really like. Like, it looks professional. It ticks all the boxes for licensing, and it actually goes across different platforms. So they went live on YouTube as well.
Yep.
But looking at it was too much like watching TV. They lost the interactive aspect, which is what people are hungry for in lockdown. So
Right.
actually using platforms like Instagram, going Insta Live and feeding it through to your Facebook, giving people a way to interact with those artists makes it more like a live gig than a full production venue that you can sneak into in isolation and try and look fancy. Like, the reason that we're doing so well and that we're booked out for the year right now with decent acts is because of that interaction. No one else can offer that, and no one else is vetting performers. No one else is doing contracts. It's like the plague hit and everybody went, fuck, everything's fucked, and forgot about our professional standards. It's just a different platform, but it's the same shit, different day. We can do this. We just need to stick to our guns, I reckon, and engage your audience. That's the biggest one.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'll tell you what, this is all very, very big as far as profile building goes. Like, we're going to come out of this with a whole new range of fans again. Or not fans, but friends, followers, whatever you want to call them, And I think they will. More people will come to see us live because they've had this interaction with us. It's very personal and intimate at the moment.
That's true.
That's what I would say. Continue your profile
he
building.
Got so many new fans out of it that he'd like to do it again.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah.
And what about Kelly? So we're just going around, and sorry, Brad and Deb. Is there anything else you can offer because you've seen heaps of live acts on your page? Any tips for anyone doing a live act?
I was going to say, continue building your profile by going on pages like this. Get yourself out there, get seen, and contact your venues. Be in touch with the venues so that they're ready for you when you come back.
Yeah.
And we'll be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kel?
I'm like really.
Oh, sorry, Deb.
Sorry.
No, go.
We're big supporters of the kids too. Like, I really love getting behind the kids and backing them. There's some really good ones out there, and I think that this is going to also help them too, catapult them into a different zone that they've never been into before.
Right.
Because
the scene looks like that, right? There's lots at the bottom, and then I get it. That's good.
Yeah, and if I'm remembered for nothing else, and I'd like to be remembered for helping them out, because no one helped me when I was 17. So that's another thing that I'm really passionate about, the kids. Definitely.
And Kel, Kelly, what advice do you have for people to refine their performances online? Thanks, Ben White.
Mate, I'm probably the worst one to ask, because I don't know if you've seen one of my online performances. I've only done 2, and it's very much me chilling out and being as laid back as I possibly can.
It's cool, man. I dig it. It's cool. That's you. You're being authentic.
That's how I do my live shows as well. I always say to everybody, I'm not there to play for you. I'm playing for me. And if I'm enjoying myself and if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, that's just that's
You
true.
should have
I
been a
love
drummer, Kel.
singing so much. But, I know that if I'm having a good time, it's a pretty good bet that someone else is having a good time.
I don't care what you do, Kelly. I'm there to watch
I'm
anyway.
not here for you. I'm here for me.
Make sure you check out Kel. And what about
the only other thing I'd add is, like, if you are going to be like, and just make sure you're prepared. Like, I did the first show for Brad and for Deb and Brad on last 2 Fridays ago. And
Yeah.
you know, I thought we could do it at home, but I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. So I went and found this really nice sunset location up at Point Danger. Had the sun setting in the background, Surfers Paradise in the background. Had really good lighting.
I saw it.
And I rang Deb and Brad before I went online and did a sound check with them to make sure it was going to be schmicky.
Oh,
So
thank
my
you,
only
Kelly.
thing is-
Everyone needs to do that.
If
Yeah,
you-
everyone needs to do that.
Definitely, yeah. It's really
Yeah, we
hard
do
when
that.
people come onto our group and they leave it right to the last minute and then find that they're going to struggle. So yeah, good tip, Kelly. Very good tip.
It's been
Yeah.
doing my head in.
Do a sound check earlier.
That's hence
it's an age-old saying: if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
and hence
That's the
why
truth.
everyone except Carl and Pam, I actually called myself to test all this. Actually,
Yeah.
actually
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great, Doug.
Yeah,
Yeah, Doug got in
thanks,
touch
Doug.
half an hour out, so
Yeah.
it was great. Got to set it up.
And
There has been a few, and I've been suggesting it to a lot of people, but you know, like I think I've slept once in 7 days since this all began. Like it's just been mental,
Where's the
and
toothpick?
I can't babysit everyone. It's just
Fair.
ridiculous. They can't work it out for themselves. I feel like, well, fuck off then.
Jeez.
and then Carl,
Beep.
what
Said
what
no.
advice? What advice, Carl? Do you have? Oh, well, I'll do Rob in a second.
first. You gone around the corner. You're gonna jump Rob.
I will save him to last because he's always got like a magic point.
Oh, best
So-
to last. I did my first live last Friday with Pub with No Fear.
Yep.
What's been great for me is because I play 6 nights a week, I don't see any other musos. I don't know what other people are doing because I'm always doing my own thing. And
Same as us.
People say to us, "Hey, can you send me something?" Well, I've been playing for 10 years live. I don't have anything other than what fans have like, recorded and sent
Me
me.
too.
So
Me too.
Ben and I did a duo the other night on Friday night, and I looked at it and went, "Is that really what I look like when I'm playing live?"
I know. We watched us two going, oh, far out. We're funny.
Well, I didn't realize, number one, I didn't realize how ugly I was, and number two, I didn't realize that I do look like I'm 50. Like I don't feel 50, I feel like 21. But anyway, so yeah. But anyway,
Funny.
That's-
yeah.
So funny.
It's funny you say that because I never knew that I moved my head with my wah-wah foot. You know, it's
Same.
really weird.
I did this really ugly smile. I thought it was a smile that doesn't even look like a smile. So record yourself.
Kelly's
Watch
been
yourself,
barring us from
pal.
taking photos of you for years. He's like, no, I don't want to be on camera.
Well, so
Very
that's my
simple.
advice. Record it, watch yourself back, and just see if there's anything you need to fix up. But yeah,
Yeah.
welcome.
Good
True.
tip. Great tip.
So, and Rob, what do you say to that, Rob? Any tips for perfecting your online performance?
I'm just always trying to get better, I guess. I did the same thing. I think I sound checked for 2 hours before the first one and listened to it through headphones, went to the computer, listened to it there.
That's what I did.
Yeah, do a private stream, like just only you can see. So do like a couple of songs, then go to the computer, listen to it through the stereo, like the monitors, and then through headphones, and then through the phone itself. Check the lighting, etc., all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think the first one I did, I was interacting probably too much. And some of the feedback I got was, tighten up between songs a little bit. So I've sort of moved to doing 3 song blocks and then
Yes.
checking in and interacting.
Yep.
And then
That's a good one.
after the live stream, I spend probably 2 hours replying to all the comments.
Yeah.
On the live
Engagement.
feed.
Engagement.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just
We
getting
do that
back to
too.
them,
Yeah.
saying thank you and
That's fun.
just trying to engage and keep the conversation going and let them know when the next one is and all that kind of stuff. And then when you've done it once, find a prime time slot and start a watch party. Do it again, and then you can interact with people in real time as they comment in the watch party. So get some value
Well
out of,
So use it-
get some value out of doing it. And you can trim
So-
it up afterwards. That's a tip. So if you do it on your music page, you could go into edit video, and if it took you a minute or so to start the first song, you can trim that minute off the beginning so that anybody who comes in to watch it again it starts right from the first song or from your welcome.
Can you
Another
say that
day.
again? Can
Yeah.
you say that again for everyone, please?
Yeah. So if you do a live stream from your music page, you can go in after the live stream finishes, click edit, and trim the video up. So you can then go, okay, I took a minute to get going. There was an issue. Trim that first minute, and bang, everybody who comes in after the live feed to watch it again is just they're met with the first song. You know,
clean it up.
G'day, bang, in you go.
Good tip.
And Kelly, you know how you're always saying wash your hands or wash your effing hands. We had a guy on this afternoon, seriously, and I hope he's not watching.
Is he watching? He might be watching.
He didn't wash his knees.
Oh,
so he's
Cameron
sitting there in
McLeod.
his shorts. And you didn't say his name.
He had black knees.
He had black knees. So he's sitting there right in front of the camera. He looked like he'd melt in the mud. So your presentation's important too. And these guys that are out there not wearing shirts and some of them got boobs. Seriously, some of these guys have got boobs. Some of these guys got man boobs. The presentation's got to be up there too, hey?
Yeah, definitely. We're big on presentation. You got to look clean and neat at all times.
Yeah, wash your knees.
Except for tonight, we weren't expecting to be on camera.
All right. And what about to Pam? Do you have any other points about the Facebook Live thing and watch party ideas?
Yeah, speak to a professional. So I
Are you a professional?
Well, I do have a degree in it, but
Oh, there you go.
A degree in professionalism. That's great.
I want a degree in professionalism.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, no, I'm actually a musician first. I'm only doing this stuff because I got laryngitis, so I couldn't join the big wave of musicians going live because I lost my voice.
Yeah, but you did the first one. You did the first one like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I did the first one like on the fly with one of my friends who toured America, one in Victoria and one in Gold Coast. And that's when I figured out that we needed to actually package it properly and monetize it. Because again, there's no point in just playing for tips unless that's what you want to do in real life. It's just dumb. We did not work our asses off for 25 years in this industry to just resort to like, let's take tips now, shall we? It's embarrassing. So, so we packaged it. And I guess the best tip I have for the digital side of it is to seek professional advice. I went and found the best digital media people I could find. I started a bidding war, and I wanted them all to tell me exactly what I needed to know. How do I build my audience? How do I get 200 people in my virtual room? Because I've now figured out that's the magic number of people that you have to have in a room to make decent coin. Because I don't want to be going live in my lounge room twice a week when I could be hanging out with my kids, unless I'm going to earn $1,000 a week. That's what I came here to do, and I want to do it with what I love doing, which is music. And if I can't do it playing, then I'll do it organising it if I have to.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good mindset. I think, probably the underlying element there, Pam, is about mindset, about your worth. But I do want to change a subject here. Is about, okay, cool. If we're looking down the barrel of maybe 12 months of not actually doing, we could do skydiving videos. That's cool, Kelly.
Kelly skydiving.
You right, Kelly?
Yeah.
Look like the video for a Savage Garden. Go to the moon and back. But anyway.
Or Blackish.
Yeah. So, just some ideas besides engaging online, what about some other real ways of earning some money? Do you guys have? Maybe.
Well, if you've got a good body. Yeah.
Oh, you got a
Lord.
good body.
Well,
I'll pimp you out.
Yeah. Well, I was going to start. I would say tuition. So, I've actually done a couple of live teaching videos. That's what I'm pushing myself to do. Usually, I've been doing Skype lessons for a long time. I've got students around the world. Sounds cool. It is cool, but I just have to get up at odd hours to engage with them. But I don't know. Besides teaching, things actually go back to some kind of normality, but we don't have the kind of gigs like 6 nights a week anymore. Is there any other ways of earning coin do you guys have? So maybe we start with Kelly with our stunt camera. No other ways?
I don't have any other ways, mate.
You're all in.
I'm pretty much all in. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Carl?
I was in a recording studio today, and they loved me and asked me if I'd do some more stuff for some other people that come in the studio. So I thought maybe I could look at things like that. So new CD coming out for India Dupre. I just went in there and the track down for her new single. So yeah, watch out for that one. It's going to be cool.
She's
Awesome.
great, that kid, isn't she?
Awesome guitarist.
Awesome. And Pam, what do you think, Pam?
Oh, I have so many. Okay, so if you lose your voice in the apocalypse and you cannot go live and play your instrument, like what happened to me, then you just need to think outside the box, figure out how to transition your online business online, because that's what we are. Like, we're artists, but there's a business side to music as well. If you can transition your art online and give it a proper business plan or a business structure, there are people that you can talk to monetize it. You can use your time to have a look at the grants that are available to you.
G word.
Yes, grants. Has everybody got on that ATO, that JobKeeper, that jam? Because that's
no. Yeah, I haven't. No.
Go to the ATO site. You click one button, and they go, "Yep, sweet. Here's like 1,500 coming your way." It's amazing. And you can use that to reinvest in your platform. You can do workshops. You can create merchandise. You can do a virtual signing tent and tell all your fans that you're going to send them signed goods. You can start off your own Facebook group, Go Live, where you do VIP section one-on-ones, like with the fans who really want to talk to you, that want to come and see you, that never get to have a chat. There's so many ways. Like,
can you just repeat that again? Sorry, there's that concept there, the one-on-one concept. What was that?
Oh, the one-on-one. Okay, so you know how you go play a festival, right? You play your show and it's sick, and then you get heaps of new fans. And to the side, they have the merch tent usually, and then you have specific times of the day that you're allowed to go in and you do signings, like you sign your stuff for your fans.
I just usually sign my own stuff, but that's cool. In case I lose it. Just kidding. Just
sign stuff for your fans. So you can make an event like a virtual signing tent where your fans can sign in, like for a ticket for like a donation or whatever. They can sign in just to have a chat with you.
Wow, that's cool.
Wow, that's a good one, Pam.
You can bundle them, and you can be like, do you know what? Not only am I going to have a chat to you, I'm going to sign it. And I'm going to send this out to you. It costs this much for my T-shirt, my CD, for a bundle. Which bundle are you after? And then you also add value by sending it out. Do you see what I mean? There's so many things. Or you could donate your services as an artist and be like, I want to be a guest speaker this week in, say, your workshops on how to go live. Or I just want to talk to other artists in the same position that we're in right now. And let them know how I've dealt with it, and just like chats like this. You could charge for this.
Really?
Awesome.
Well, this is my idea. Just sharing, paying it forward.
Oh my God, you should do this. You should do this every week, and it could be like your online channel, and you can charge for it. You can charge for people to come at the chat.
That'd be cool. I wouldn't charge these guys. I love all these guys. That's
I'll look at 50 later, Doug.
Okay. Pam, you are a wealth of information. This is amazing. So thanks, Debbie, for hooking up. Yeah. So, Debbie and Brad, what do you guys think? What's an alternative plan? What's plan B for income if this is going to be the long haul?
Well, I think probably the best tip that I could give is don't sell your guitars. Don't hock them. Stick with it. Keep playing. Look, I really don't know, Doug. This is what we do for a living. It's what I live and breathe. I don't have any plans to make money outside this industry. So yeah, look, I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I honestly haven't really thought about it.
We're a bit like lost puppies at the moment, and we've been really consumed by this online thing that we've got happening. So I haven't had much time to think about it.
I think if you can learn to live within your means, then all will be okay. I think we're going to be all right. We're not particularly money-hungry people. I'm not saying that you guys are. Sorry, Pam, I wasn't getting at that at all. I'm just saying that
that's me.
Yeah, we're pretty happy with where we're at, and we're pretty confident when we come out we're going to be okay. So.
And we're not poor. We do have some financial backup, so we're okay. But obviously, that's not going to last forever. So I don't know. We do have to come up with something. Yeah.
But
And
thanks
then,
for the thought. Now we'll have to think about
Yeah.
it. No more sleep
And-
again tonight.
Yeah,
and then we'll go to Rob about alternative ways of generating income.
So you're saying if the venues don't come back?
Well, okay, so lockdown. Yeah, so actually, you know what? You've summed it up nicely. If we're out.
Okay.
We're allowed to move around.
Yes.
Venues are not there.
So yeah, I think that we were sort of moving towards a few more ticketed shows than depending on the fees from venues. So I think I'm sort of planning to immediately, once it gets lifted and the venues don't come back, to start planning ticketed shows, the cruises, and putting a roster of artists together for the local cruise company here at Tweed. Tweed Eco Cruises. So
Because you're in New South Wales. You're in New South Wales, right?
Yeah, I'm at Pottsville, just over the border.
the right side.
Yeah. So I think a
Go
little bit
Blue.
of that. I think people will be willing to come out and spend a little bit of money to see the artists that have been there for them through this and who they've been there for as well. So events, special events that kind of can make memories for people. I think that's sort of what I'm looking at, some theatre shows. And then once the venues get back on top and people are back at work and not just planning their budget on the welfare payments that we'll be getting, or support payments, or some people have called them survival payments.
Yeah.
Because that's the hard thing. I think we were talking about this last night, Doug. The X factor coming out
Yep.
of this is people that have deferred rents, deferred mortgages, that are going to have
Yep.
to pay all that back when things open back up and when they go back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So will
Wow.
they have the disposable income that they had before this happened?
Lifestyle
And-
drivers. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know my wife and I have completely changed our spending habits overnight.
Same.
That's
You know,
exactly right. That's what I
All the
was going to
Wow.
subscriptions, we ended all our subscriptions.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Because-
Very smart.
Because we were limited. We were limited
Yeah.
to what we have. I was in the enviable position of almost all of my venues being paid up when this went down.
Wow.
So there was no income where I could go, oh, well, that's coming, or no.
Yeah.
that's
We were
not
the
Same.
same.
We're the
that's
same.
not
We were the
coming,
same, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And on that note, can we had a push to get back to payments on the night? How good would that be?
That'd be awesome.
You know,
Actually, all original Sound Lounge venues are payment on the night. All of
yeah,
them.
that's great.
If I could
Yeah.
just jump in here, we've got the backing of one of our local venues here in Ballina. We've already talked about the big re-emergence when it all happens, and you know, and getting together a bunch of, you know, all of us, for instance, and whoever else we decide on, and ticketing an event to run over the whole weekend. They've got accommodation there. They're in the heart of town. There's motels everywhere, so people have got places to stay. And
There you go. So we have done something.
We are doing it. So we are.
That's awesome.
Right. We have got a festival type thing going to happen, which is really good, and ticket it. And I said to him, and that way we'll be able to pay all the musos, you know, and ourselves, and hopefully you guys as well for giving us the venue. And he said, I will not take a single cent. You will split it up between you and all of your musician friends.
He's
and,
a very
and
cool
happy
manager.
to help you out
They're not
anyway.
all like that, but he's
So
he's
he's
a cool one.
really cool.
Yeah,
but we
wow.
like we gravitate towards those managers anyway.
And guess what? Robbie's from Sydney, of course.
So that might be of course. Now I get why you say the right side, because you guys are down at Ballina. But I can't come and visit you, otherwise I'd have to spend 4 weeks in quarantine. You know, 14 on the way over and 14
They
on the
might
way
shoot
back.
you if you try to come over the
Yeah,
border.
Oh wow.
We don't
No,
mind being
you're
for 4
allowed.
weeks back. It's all good.
Well,
You can come for 4
Maybe-
weeks.
So I might shoot him if he walks in the driveway.
I think, Rob, you've highlighted an awesome point that I think a lot of musos probably don't spend enough talking about, and that's maybe financial fitness. There's an awesome podcast called The Property Couch. I love it. Anyway, there's a concept on there about managing your money. So they sort of mirrored it on a book called The Barefoot Investor, about buckets. So when you get your cash, you have your everyday expense, and then you have your loan repayments, whatever they is, and then more importantly, they have this extinguisher, like emergency fund, so that if there is a financial issue, the first thing you don't do is just chuck it straight on credit. because then you get stuck in an infinite loop. So I'm not saying, I'm not giving it financial advice. What I'm saying is maybe, just like what Rob did, he changed his habits overnight. So maybe if we go down to Kelly, is there any things that any tips you want to say that you maybe had to think of money differently? Are you in a different
absolutely.
position?
I'm in the same position. I had to alter my spending habits immediately, and
Right.
so I'm essentially living off my savings now.
Yeah.
Right.
If I continued to live the way I was doing, I had about 4 months worth of savings. Now I've spun this out so that I know I've got 12 months behind me, and comfortably 12 months.
So you planned for the future. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I've always been a planner. I had 27 years of policing and criminal justice to make sure that I planned and make sure I had my stuff.
I think it's really important to throw ourselves into looking after the kids. There's so many kids out there that want to play, and they're our future. So there's always, okay, yes, we can survive for 12 months, but then eventually you're going to have to get money from somewhere. So there's like Carl, you're already doing it. You're backing the kids as well. Like there's lessons, you're doing lessons with the kids, around the clock, really. And we know heaps of them because through our open mics. How many kids have we come into contact with? And they all want to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of things that you could teach them too. Not just how to play guitar and not just how to sing, but give them your business experience, because we've all been doing this for a long time. And as you guys know, you pick up that knowledge, and no one can really teach you that. You've got to pick it up as you go. But we can teach them. So maybe you could create some sort of sessions where we can teach them how to approach an agency.
It's nice to have an agent
or how to approach a venue. We could teach them that as well. So there's an option there to maybe make some dollars.
Yeah.
And maybe Carl, do you have any tips financially to be aware of?
Well, look, we got stuck because we're about to put the house on the market, so I'm currently just finishing it off. So we spent everything I could on the house, ready to go on the market this week. And
now
now's not a good time to sell.
Is Carl, was that brought on by this situation, or was that already in the plan?
We planned to do it, so yeah. I've got a big house. We always want to downsize a bit, but I'm in real estate anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, we spent everything we could on the house to finish it, to get it ready for next week. I still like $4,500 from venues that I chase daily. Mate, need that $4,500 to help over this way.
Wow.
My wife, she owns a hairdressing salon in Burleigh. We've closed the shop because we just think it's, although she's allowed to trade, I just think it's too dangerous.
Oh, bloody oath.
Well,
how can you be 1.5 meters away from someone that you're cutting hair? Like it's just ridiculous.
Then they cop in the face. Yeah, so look.
I wouldn't know. So.
A little bit. And,
you just need a buff.
Yeah.
You need a buff, Doug.
Yes. So we might go over to Pam. Pam, are you still there? Do you have any financial tips for musos to be aware of in this market?
Well, yeah. I don't think now's the time to be scared. I really think now is the time to be prepared. And if anything, right now I'm investing hard. The government's handing out like free money. In saying that, I'm a Kiwi, so we don't actually get help, and I never really have. I've been a full-time musician, and 100% of my income comes from my gigs until now. So,
but Pam, did you not say before that you applied for the JobKeeper and got that? Is that correct, or?
That is because the government in the last 7 days alone has just said that if you're a New Zealander, but you're an employer or you're a business or you're a casual worker with an ABN, that you can actually apply for these things now. And so,
okay, great. Thanks for clarifying. That's good.
That's cool.
Yeah. I still look at that as money that I wouldn't have had anyway, although I pay tax and I pay more of it than most Australians do. So I look at that and I go, sweet, that's free money. I'm going to put that straight back into this business and I'm going to make it work. I'm going to build the platform out and I'm going to invest in my craft so that I can have my own stages and have my own alternative streams of income to really secure and project my income moving forward. So I would be, for a musician right now in this climate, I would be having a serious look at the gaps in my portfolio, in my press kit. I'd be looking at where I want to be performing next year. I'd be looking at what I need to invest right now in order to make sure that that happens, and I'd be living within my means. And then I would just invest hard, head down, tail up, and make it work, man. I will just go hard. It's exactly what I'm doing right now. And I'm proud to say I do now have a projected income, and it is through music. Not only from gigs, but from alternative income streams from like workshops and also booking, planning shows and festivals. But I would love to know more about ticketing shows online. If any of you are doing that, what that looks like, and
Wow.
what's working good for you, then I'd really like to talk more about that with any of you who are doing that.
Is maybe throw it over to Rob there. Have you had any experience in that?
No, I kind of looked into it when they were limiting venue numbers. And then once they kind of put the kibosh on that and made it difficult to get a band together in a room, you know, with production and all of that, and to do, you know, whether you're going to use OBS or whatever to do it so it's professional sound.
Rob.
And
Hey Rob, you know how there was that little loophole there in the restrictions where they were like, if it is your place of work, you're allowed to go. Does that count for musicians, or were they still like, nah, sorry, you can't all go to work today, social distancing?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because what would you class as a musician's
Thanks, Marty.
place of work?
Like the studio, the recording studio.
Good on you, Marty. Thank you, mate.
And film and play.
Yeah, I guess it would be a very grey area that you know, because we've got a great place out here called Round Mountain Studios. Paul Dover, hey mate, and it's like a big shed with a live stage set up. He has a lot of bands come to town over Splendor and Falls and Blues Fest, and they rehearse there and stay there.
Oh wow!
He's got a and you can pull all the roller doors up of the shed and be open air. So I've sort of been toying with that idea with the band. You know, once it settles down a little bit at the moment, like, come on, the police are walking the beach at the moment and stopping people from sunbaking. So
yeah, I get it.
If you get a call, I wouldn't really want to be able, you know, dealing with it at the height of how everything is. But when it settles down and this curve flattens out and they seem to relax a little bit, I think that's definitely something that we'll jump on. And then just looking at, because Scott, I don't know if you guys know Scott Watman, but he's got another live space that we were talking about.
He's a great guy.
Before the restrictions, the level 2 and level 3 came in, we were talking about doing something there at the recording room. And yeah, I think we're just, for how it is now, it has to kind of be isolation based stuff. One person or the person that you live with. So, you know, Deb and Brad have been doing it. My wife and I have been doing it. And then, let's definitely have a strategic plan in place to when these things start to open up, and we can do it without any fear of the ramifications that can come from it.
If I can just jump in here, we've got a mate, one of Brad's mates he's known for 40 years, is actually working on software as we speak that will enable us all to jam from our own houses together without the bandwidth problems. So we should be able to lock in and it will be a tight sound. Yeah.
Now he's got about 100,000 competitors.
And he's going to give it to us.
I think everyone's really cool on that.
How many people are watching, Doug?
Well, I've got quite a lot of mates.
We're sharing it. We're sharing it with everyone. We're not going to charge for that. Bugger it. Everybody needs it. It's a survival tool.
I've been just on that note about the tech. There's a few people I know around the world in Germany and England and New York and California and Memphis, blah blah blah. But everyone says, "Oh, why don't we just jam online?" Like, I have been looking like the whole week. So if anyone actually knows of any tech that can make, I know Deb just said, but if you do, oh really, Pam? Okay, over to you, Pam.
Do a workshop on April 14, and I can literally walk you step by step through all of the best ones available with no overheads at the moment. So no subscription, no charging, no nothing, and I have a team of all of the people who did my first international tours with me, helping me to give and deliver these workshops so that people are equipped with the skills that they need. That's what we've been working on since the band started.
Do
Can
they
you send
actually?
us an invite, Pam, to that, please?
Oh, for sure. I'm just gonna wait for
Me too.
the media dude to give me the all clear to do the press release on it because it has
The
to be
media
dude.
legit.
But
The
um,
media dude.
but Pam,
April 14.
so Pam, the that actual software, are you talking about jamming online in real time?
That's correct. There's heaps. There's Switcher. There's Restream. There's obviously Zoom. It depends on the vibe that you're after, and what kind of band you
Yeah.
are, and what kind of sound you want, and quality you want. Everybody's
Yeah.
different. That's why I'm saying you need to go and consult professionals, or have a look at the professionals that I prepared earlier for you. I know that sounds weird, but dude, I'm straight up. I'm not even kidding. I've been all over this since the band started, and this is what everyone needs.
Yep. Well, that's good advice because I've been looking for
It doesn't exist. We have to make it ourselves.
no. Brad Paisley just did it. Okay, thanks, Bruce. Well, yeah, if someone knows of how to make that happen, totally
Excellent.
keen on that.
Very happening. That's great.
Well,
Damn it.
maybe to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes, is there any other, closing comments? We'll just go around again, to encourage everyone, because I think if this has been so successful, we might do it again soon. Hey, if everyone's cool with that.
This is so
yeah,
cool.
sure.
It's like the footy show, but it's for music, and I really like it.
And there's no fatty.
And there's no guys dressed up in drag.
You
Yeah, right.
you have to have one token Kiwi in it, though, okay? Just so that there's one person saying fuck a time.
You gotta get closer to your microphone. You're so soft, Pam.
Fuck a
I can
time.
go grab a 90 if you like, Rob.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Yeah.
want to see that.
Thanks, Ralph. Yeah, I've noticed that with a 100 millisecond delay. It's actually
Kelly,
even
come on, mate.
hard.
You're hanging off the roof now.
Oh,
And
right.
thanks so much for organising this. This has been the best conversation.
See that
I've
Kelly's
had all
come out the
lockdown.
side of our phone, babe.
The hairs
Oh,
on
yeah.
his chin, his chin.
Sorry, Pam. Can you say that again?
I said, thanks so much for organising this. This is the best conversation I've had all lockdown.
Yeah.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome.
That's
Thank you guys for engaging.
Thanks, Doug.
Because
Good on you, Pam. Your input was awesome. Good
Yeah,
on
thanks,
you.
Pam.
thank you.
Thank
So
you.
I just want to maybe. So does anyone else got any other closing comments? I think Kelly's in a Disney movie called Frozen right now. So nice neck profile, man.
I'm trying to see down his shirt. Hold on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he needs a
Yeah,
shave.
let's just all go with it.
Let's all go with him, yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, actually, I know what you can say. If everyone can maybe just name drop their socials. Carl, if you want to go first, and then we'll just go around the thing, and then that'll be over and out.
Yep, Carl Peters Live. Make sure that if you're going to do something with this time off, it's constructive. Don't just sit around and wait for the 6 months to go and miss out. Make it worthwhile.
Someone put. All right, I'm not going to say that word. And Pam, do you want to put your socials on there?
Yeah, sure. So our page is Original Sound Lounge. It's a closed members page. You can join the live stream group, which again is Original Sound Lounge live streaming. And if you're an artist and you're out of work and you need money and you want to play an actual venue that's fully licensed online, please email your press kit through to originalsoundlounge@gmail.com. Our website will go live next week, and we'll have workshops available to help you from April 14. Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. And
Awesome,
Deb
Pam.
and Brad. Deb and Brad, you want to do your socials, please?
You're the social
No,
expert.
we got so many of them. Jesus, we got
Just the public, no fear of it.
All right. Well, okay. Well, yeah. You can find me. I'm isdebbie@hotmail.com. That's on Facebook. And then we've got the Pub with No Fear page. We'll stick with that one for now. But there's also the original Open Mic Gold Coast and Northern Rivers page as well.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of on hold at the moment because that was basically an open mic page or group associated around all the different open mics and pubs that were happening around the coast, right? Supporting all of our mates, Carl, everyone who's doing them. So yeah, that's on hold at the moment. And I do want to add that eventually when we do go back to normal and we do go back to playing on a stage, we're going to can the Pub with No Fear because we want people to go to pubs, not sit at home and watch it online.
That's right.
And yeah, so Pub with No Fear. And if you want to find Brad, he's just good old Brad Buckley.
Awesome. And Rob, do you want to close with your socials there?
Yeah, so facebook.com, obviously, /Rob Rhodes Music. And then the Living in the 70s live. So 70s with the 70. Yeah, that's where we're kind of I'm doing the live feeds. Today I was working on mixes from previous live shows that were recorded.
Sorry, Rob,
so-
can you just repeat your link again, please? I'm trying to write it down.
Sure. Rob Rhodes Music is the first one, and Living in the 70s live.
I forgot to
That's,
add our music pages.
I
Jeez.
was just going to say, Rob, that's RHODES.
Ah,
For everybody who
HODES,
doesn't know
yeah.
yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
we've got
there,
that.
though.
We forgot to add our music pages.
Or you better save it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Hey, look, it
our
only
music
took
page.
me 2 of these to do that. Look.
Oh, so sorry.
Social distancing
Ah, there we
comes.
go.
Don't
We
do
are
that,
distraction duo.
I should have put my glasses on. Sorry.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm Pam Harder Music, and I play in a band called Siren Band.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, we've got
Um,
my addiction as well.
So if everyone can actually, all the panel, if you can please go to the, I think Kelly might be back from his frozen. There he is.
All right,
Uh,
sorry guys, had a small
There you go.
catastrophic
Hey!
incident.
That's right. It was stuck on your neck, man. Yeah. So,
Hey,
Ke-
Brad's got one more thing he wants to add. Go,
oh
Brad.
yeah, or we got Kelly as well.
Inside Music Solutions. There you go. There's another
Okay.
one for us.
And Kelly,
Josh
do you
had
want to
that for you.
close with your socials, Kel? Are you there from Disney? Hello. Yep. All right, we lost him. I'll just close with
Yeah, I
mine.
can
So
tell you, he's just
Okay.
Kelly Penny. He doesn't have a music page or anything like that. He's just
okay.
Kelly Penny running off his own profile. Yeah.
So if everyone on the panel can please go to the comments on the videos later and just put your own things in it, and just mine are Doug De Jong Music is a Facebook one, and you can find me on Spotify. I've got a record out, and yeah, so please go and listen to that. I might earn some 20 cents off that. And on YouTube, if you find me on YouTube, this has been broadcast on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. So I think
Awesome.
Kelly's back there. Is Kelly's going to do? There we go. Do you want to say anything
Yeah,
before you go,
check
Kel?
out-
Oh,
No,
Kelly.
I dropped out there, so great to be part of the panel. Love to do it again. Thanks very much
Yeah.
for all your input and everything else, all your comments out there too, listening. And
Thanks for your videos,
Thanks.
Kel.
Yeah.
All good.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
For
You're a
this. This
legend.
is great. We're looking forward to the
yeah,
next
great
one.
idea, Dave.
Check
It's
out
great to be
Doug's
along.
videos.
Let's do it at least once a week.
I look at my videos. Cool. All right. If all the panel can stay on for a second, I'm just going to close that out. But see you all again next time. We'll announce it again.
Woo.
See you
Thanks,
soon.
everyone.
See you guys.